DeWanna Bonner's decision to join the Indiana Fever wasn't just a random splash in free agency. It sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA. Fans expected her to re-up with a proven contender or chase familiarity. Yet here she is, landing on a young Fever squad bursting with new talent. Some say it's because of her family. Others insist there's a deeper motive. One thing is certain, this move is bigger than a simple roster change. It might just redefine the power structure of the league. Bonner has never been one to make passive choices in her career. She's accumulated championships, shattered records, and built a legacy as one of the most versatile players in the WNBA. So why walk into a team known for its fresh faces and untested chemistry? Everyone has theories. Maybe it's her personal life or rumor behind-the-scenes friction with a past franchise. Still, she's here now, and the rumblings about what's next are growing by the day. The Fever have been on the cusp of something special, and Bonner's arrival could catapult them into a brand new stratosphere. Time after time, Bonner found a way to turn her teams into playoff threats. She's logged more playoff games than almost anyone in league history, earning the respect of every coach and competitor she's faced. But even with 2 championships under her belt, there was this lingering sense that Bonner still wanted more, a new challenge, a fresh environment, or perhaps just a different spotlight. By most standards, she'd proven everything a WNBA athlete could hope to prove, yet complacency has never been part of her vocabulary. So why would someone with that level of experience and success choose a franchise known more for its developing core than established dominance? Rumors suggest a subtle dissatisfaction simmering for the last couple of years. Maybe she felt overshadowed on her previous team. Maybe she saw a new wave of talent sweeping the league and wanted to align herself with the next generation of stars before it was too late. Regardless of the exact reason, the move is bold, borderline risky. And Bonner doesn't strike anyone as someone who takes leaps without believing she'll land on her feet. But there's more to Bonner's history than high-stakes games and stat lines. She's had her share of personal battles, including juggling professional life with motherhood, which introduced logistical challenges most athletes don't face. In a league that's still navigating how to support mothers and families, Bonner's decisions often carry layers beyond the typical free agency storyline. Yet while her children are certainly a motivating factor, insiders have hinted that her fascination with the Fever was never just about convenience. Her track record shows she doesn't just walk into a locker room and blend in. Instead, she shapes the culture around her. That's exactly what some suspect she intends to do in Indiana. But is Indiana ready for that? And is Bonner prepared to guide an ambitious squad that's still finding its identity? If there's one thing fans can agree on, it's that Bonner's mindset is always playoff-driven. She wants to elevate this team faster than anyone predicts. The question is, does the Fever's young core share her sense of urgency? If you listen to the official press conferences, Bonner attributes much of her decision to wanting to be closer to her kids. It's a heartwarming explanation, one that resonates with many. However, rumors swirling around the WNBA grapevine suggest other forces in play. Some allege she felt restricted in her previous system, that perhaps her leadership style clashed with the coaches, or that she craved a new environment that would challenge her nightly. There's also been talk of quiet contract disputes. Was Bonner seeking a deal that better reflected her high-level production and intangible leadership? Insiders hint that the path to an agreement with her former team got complicated, fueling her desire to look elsewhere. But hearing all that, you can't ignore the role of the Indiana Fever front office. Word is they laid out a clear vision. Bonner would be the final piece to a puzzle featuring star rookies, rising veterans, and a city eager to reclaim basketball glory. Then there's the Caitlin Clark factor. Clark's been turning heads since her rookie debut, mesmerizing fans with her shooting range and fearless style. Some within the league have whispered that Bonner saw an extraordinary opportunity to partner with a younger player who shares her hunger for competition, someone with a raw but undeniable edge. Because while Bonner has always been an alpha on the court, she's also shown a knack for mentoring. It's not just about forging her own path. It's about shaping the next generation and, in turn, leaving a lasting legacy. Yet, these motivations aren't necessarily all sunshine and optimism. The WNBA is still a business, and major signings often come with unspoken strings attached. Teams expect immediate returns from their star acquisitions, especially from someone with Bonner's pedigree. People in basketball circles are already murmuring about potential power struggles, whether Bonner's leadership style might overshadow Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, or other talents who are still finding their footing. One thing is crystal clear: personal and professional ambitions have intersected in Indiana, creating a pressure cooker environment that could produce spectacular results or a dramatic implosion. Bonner's never been afraid to embrace the tough questions or navigate tricky locker room politics, but she's stepping into a new wave of the WNBA, one that thrives on social media mania, where every moment gets magnified. And yet, it appears she's not just ready for it, but actively seeking it. The journey from private motivations to public spectacle has officially begun. Where it leads next might surprise everyone, including Bonner herself. Few names in women's basketball have caused as much turbulence in so little time as Caitlin Clark. The stat lines alone are staggering, but it's her unyielding fire on the court that sets her apart. She launches deep shots like they're layups, dishes out assists with pinpoint precision, and displays a swagger rarely seen in first-year players. So when DeWanna Bonner repeatedly singled out Clark in interviews, heads turned. Why was a veteran of Bonner's caliber hyping up a sophomore star this much? The reason might be simpler than you think. Bonner sees in Clark what most legends yearn to see in the next generation, a competitor who hates to lose and never shies away from the moment. Their on-court clash during last season's playoffs, one that briefly turned physical, only fueled that fascination. Instead of souring Bonner's opinion, it strengthened her respect for Clark's no-holds-barred mindset. These two are cut from the same relentless cloth. Still, some question whether the hype is overblown. Could Clark's rapid rise overshadow a veteran star like Bonner? In a league hungry for the next face of women's basketball, it's no secret that hype machines gravitate toward younger talent. When the cameras roll and the social media posts fly, big personalities can collide. Bonner supporters insist she's a natural mentor who thrives in an environment where she can guide and mold another player's gifts. Critics argue that eventually, alpha dogs butt heads. Bonner appears confident that she can strike the right balance with Clark, part teacher, part co-star. Their games complement each other. Clark's outside shooting and high-tempo approach pair well with Bonner's slashing drives and defensive switchability. If that synergy materializes on court, defenses across the league will be stretched to their breaking point. Fans already fantasize about the mesmerizing pick-and-roll combinations, the no-look passes, and the unstoppable transition attacks. Yet every fairy-tale partnership has its tests. Pressure comes from all angles, fans expecting highlight reels, a coaching staff eager to grab wins, and a media cycle that spares no one from scrutiny. One losing streak or one blowout defeat could ignite second-guessing about Bonner's influence or Clark's readiness to share the spotlight. But for now, the excitement is real, and it's not just swirling around Clark alone. The entire Fever squad stands to benefit if these two harmonize their talents. Beyond Clark, the Fever boast a young nucleus that's quickly gaining league-wide respect. Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, and now Natasha Howard have set the stage for a team that could surge into playoff contention, perhaps even championship conversations. The fresh injection of youth is exactly what fans in Indiana have craved. They've watched their beloved franchise go through tough rebuilding years, only to glimpse a flicker of hope in recent seasons. But as the spotlight intensifies, so do the whispers of internal competition. Kelsey Mitchell in particular has been a quiet star, someone who's put up impressive numbers without the fanfare that usually accompanies top scorers. With Clark's meteoric rise and the hype around Bonner's arrival, will Mitchell get the attention she's long deserved? Team insiders say there's mutual respect among the guards, but respect can be tested when everyone wants the ball in crunch time. Lexi Hull brings grit and defensive prowess, while Leah Boston is already on the path to becoming one of the league's most dominant post presences. If you look at raw talent, the Fever could theoretically field an entire starting lineup that's all-star material. That's a dream scenario on paper, but sometimes loaded rosters stumble when roles blur and no clear hierarchy emerges. Bonner's presence as a vocal, playoff-tested vet might hold this group together or inadvertently spark a scramble for alpha status. It's a delicate dance. The front office has been strategic, layering potential superstars with proven veterans. Yet their plan hinges on intangible chemistry that can't be forced. Bonds form over shared adversity, tough losses, and late-game heroics, and the Fever are entering a season where adversity will come knocking often. It takes only one rumor, like player X is frustrated with her touches, or player Y is clashing with the coaching staff, to transform a promising team into a locker room minefield. All this sets the stage for an unpredictable season, one that could cement the Fever as a rising dynasty or serve as a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of stacking multiple stars. But if anyone can keep this from boiling over, it's a seasoned leader who knows the stakes better than anyone else. What separates a routine signing from a game-changing move is the intangible aura that certain players carry. Bonner's aura is defined by an unrelenting will to win, forged over years of battling in playoff series where she logged more minutes than just about anyone else. She's tasted glory, but that taste never fully satisfied her hunger. Instead, it made her chase the next ring harder. In her press conference, Bonner vowed to bring a championship mindset to Indiana. That phrase might sound cliched, but in practice, it means daily accountability. No sloppy drills, no half-hearted efforts, no free passes for mistakes that could cost a crucial game. Younger players who haven't felt the sting of a playoff exit might initially bristle under that intensity. Veteran watchers of the WNBA say it's precisely what the Fever need. In a league that's grown more competitive every year, bridging the gap between good and elite often comes down to details. Bonner excels in those details. She's relentless about scouting opponents, analyzing film, and staying mentally sharp throughout the brutal schedule. She's also known for pushing teammates in practice, setting a tempo that demands everyone else keep up or risk falling behind. However, instilling this mindset in a young roster can be a double-edged sword. Some players blossom under tough love and high expectations, transforming from decent prospects into unstoppable forces. Others feel stifled by the constant pressure and might struggle to maintain confidence. So Bonner's challenge isn't just about setting high standards. It's about striking the right balance so that every player thrives, including the high-profile ones like Clark who are still carving out their roles. Bonner seems to embrace it all. If she can pass on even a fraction of that fearless mentality to her new teammates, the rest of the league should pay attention. Because a cohesive unit built around veterans who've won championships and young stars who want to prove themselves can become lethal in a hurry. But that wasn't the whole story. Even with the right mindset, they'll face battles beyond the court, media scrutiny, external pressures, and the need to keep everyone healthy. Still, if anyone knows how to thrive in the chaos, it's the player who's already lived a dozen playoff lives in the WNBA. Despite all the optimism swirling around Indianapolis, the WNBA is no cakewalk. The competition has never been fiercer, and a handful of teams have reloaded with their own blockbuster moves. Where does that leave the newly fortified Fever? If everything clicks, they could emerge as an instant powerhouse. But if injuries strike, chemistry falters, or the pressure becomes too intense, the dream of a swift turnaround might implode. Skeptics point to the risk of relying heavily on a rookie or second-year star like Clark. Even the brightest talents hit sophomore slumps or face harsh adjustments once opponents strategize to shut them down. Others raise eyebrows at the idea of multiple big personalities, Bonner, Clark, Mitchell, Howard, all coexisting under a single system. Too many cooks in the kitchen, they say. Off the court, there are also the realities of balancing personal lives, media responsibilities, and brand endorsements. Clark, in particular, is already seeing marketing opportunities flood her inbox, while Bonner juggles parental duties and the demands of being a household WNBA name. These distractions might chip away at the focus needed to maintain a championship pace. The truth is, no team ascends without facing adversity. The Fever will likely stumble through losing streaks, face unstoppable opponents, and see brilliant game plans unravel at times. The measure of their potential lies in how they respond. Will the presence of a hardened champion like Bonner be enough to keep them unified when the honeymoon phase ends? That question looms. And it's precisely why people can't stop talking about Indiana. They've put together what might be the most intriguing mix of veterans and next-generation talent in the league. Now they have to prove that it isn't just hype or a transitional stepping stone, but the start of a new WNBA powerhouse. In the end, DeWanna Bonner's move to the Indiana Fever feels like more than just a free agency footnote. It's a statement, a declaration that the old guard sees something in this fresh, dynamic roster worth betting on. It's also a gamble for a star athlete who has nothing left to prove yet chooses to embrace the upheaval of a new environment and the challenge of guiding an up-and-coming team to the pinnacle. Let us know what you think. Are we about to witness the birth of a juggernaut, or is this ambitious experiment headed for heartbreak? Leave your thoughts below, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch the next big revelation. This storyline is far from over, because in the WNBA, anything can happen when elite talent, unyielding passion, and sky-high stakes collide. The Fever are coming, and they're not looking back.